like, you have a problem with anything, address it.
Yes.
This is my favorite V-friend, actually was gonna be the first book, but I got to this. The V-friend that I most wanna make popular is Accountable Ant. We have become remarkable at pointing fingers.
Sure.
Biden's the worst, Trump's the worst, Republicans, Democrats, America, China, my spouse, mom fucked me up, dad fucked me up, my boss is a dick, we are, what about this, brother? The thumb, Ryan, the thumb doesn't exist anymore. Do you know why I'm so happy? I stay in thumb. I spend an ungodly amount of time in an enjoyable way. This is the interesting part of like, what could I have done better? I fucked that up, damn, I shouldn't have done, I could have, and some people when they hear me say things like that, they're like, doesn't that get depressing? I'm like, no, I'm in control. When you think everyone's in control, but you're finished.
Yeah. Yeah, I talk about this, it's called self-discipline for a reason. You know what I mean? Discipline is this mythical thing that you think you get to enforce on other people. No, discipline, it's here, right? Like, you can hold yourself to high standards, and then you can hope other people come up to this. It's not this.
And it has does it have a ripple effect? It's so funny you say that. Somebody, this struck me. I was on a Asian tour speaking, and I was in Singapore, and it was like this kind of like VIP dinner afterwards. It was the only one I did on that tour. And this young woman, she might have been 27. We got into one of those favorite dinners I have, 12 people, everyone gets deep. And she talks about how she resented her mom her whole life because she was one of the biggest judges in Singapore and she was never around.
Yeah.
And then she was young, 25, 27, 29. She goes, in the last 5 years, I realized my mom was showing me how to live versus telling me how to live. One of the profound things of self-discipline is it accomplishes the goal that most parents, coaches, managers, and leaders want. A lot of people want to deploy discipline on others by acting with self-discipline, by acting.
Yes.
It actually creates the osmosis on your circles that you're looking for.
Yes, and by the way, it's really the only part you control.
Correct.
I remember I was interviewing this Air Force general, and he was like, even me, he's like, I'm a general. He's like, I've probably given 2 direct orders in my entire. You fantasize like that CEO, they have like an iron grip, or that coach, they're it's all volunteer world out there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Do you know the people that consume my content listen to my marketing habits better than my 2,000 employees?
I'm sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like people like always saying about like, oh, your kids. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm their dad. Yeah. I'm the only creator or person they're not gonna listen to.
Yeah.
They'll take some good stuff and it's parenting, but like they're not putting Garyvee. Yeah. Like I'm not Garyvee to that. Like I do that for my friends, and some of my friends are gonna do that for my kids. That's just the way the game works.
Yeah, you have to be about it more than you talk about it.
God, man, talk about life, man. That is it, man. By the way, just as a side note, for all the people, there's a lot of people building marketing agencies and things of that nature. The reason VaynerMedia has become one of the largest independent global agencies in the world is I'm still a practitioner.
Yes.
I wrote the copy to my Instagram post walking into this bookstore today.
Yeah.
I wrote the copy.
Yeah.
Like I'm still in the dirt. And I think that a lot of people, here's one thing more universal than agencies. Friends, when you go from being the employee to being the manager within your company, everything changes. You know, and a lot of you think that all of a sudden everyone works for you, when in reality it's the reverse.
Yeah.
You start working for everyone.
Well, what I found too from my marketing agency, which doesn't really exist anymore, because I got tired of trying to tell other people what they should do, and I just said, I'm gonna start making my own stuff. If I'm actually good at this, I wanna market me and what I'm interested in, and things that are like that I control, right?
Makes so much sense.
And so, yeah, like people.
I just went to super scale.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
But like you represented that era, and I always thought that. I remember hearing about you and others that were like doing it for bigger prominent figures, and I'm like, they're gonna figure out that they should just, because my belief was even if you were not an electric video personality, that everybody, if they had chops, whether in written form, audio, or video, by the way, tons of people don't consume my content because it's too much.
Yeah.
So they prefer someone like you to be the messenger. That makes sense. There's a lot of people that stop listening to this podcast already because it's yours, and I'm too much for them. Just like when you come on mine,
sure,
it might not be dynamic enough to hit up that adrenaline for them. That's beautiful. That goes back to a thing we touched on here. Not every flavor for everyone about everything.
Just be you, do what you do, and
let the chips fall. But to the broader point I was making there was, I was like, oh, these kids that are actually the practitioners, they're gonna have their day. Because once you don't know how, you are not as valuable, and as long as you know how, you are always valuable. It was funny, when I was doing this book, at some point I was like, oh, wait till Ryan sees this. Literally, meet me in the middle, right? Patient pig and eager eagle, right? Patience and being eager. The point of this book, and I'm so excited to be going into kids book land, because the truth is, I've really felt the impacts of getting to kids 15 to 25, especially now that I've been doing it for so long. It's fun to find that 40-year-old that's been watching you since they were 25, and you talk to them and you listen to the impacts, and you get so humbled. And now I'm like getting a little greedy. I'm like, okay, let's go younger. Like, to me, you know, patience. Do you know that I believe most alpha winners that hear me talk about patience, that it's one of the things that they like me, I'm gonna go get all that, but they don't like when I go patience because they interpret it as complacency. But there's a reason there's 2 words in the dictionary. Patience is not complacency. Eagerness, I love, ambition, you know, but this book is basically telling kids, and parents, by the way, that in America, we've become way too red and way too blue. And the magic is purple. By the way, that's why this was purple. I'm like all about purple now.
Do you know Aristotle's golden mean? All right, so many centuries ago, Aristotle said that most virtues are a midpoint between 2 vices. So courage, the opposite of courage is not cowardice. There's recklessness and cowardice, and courage is in the middle. For the Stoics, the virtue of temperance or self-discipline would be between eagerness and patience, right? Like it's in the middle there.
Love you. And so I'm using these VFriends to show being eager and hungry, amazing. Being patient, amazing. What I do in here is I go, too much patience becomes complacency. Too much eagerness becomes sloppy. And how these 2 VFriends, you know, it's fun, come together, and I think it's cool. It's a middle book for kids, so you can read it from both sides. So 2 nights out of the week, you can get them on both. And I'm so darn excited about this because I love both audiences in a parent and kid world. So the cartoons I have coming out for VFriends on YouTube Kids this summer, the books, the master plan I have for the next 50 years of VFriends, my audience is gonna be both. Unlike a lot of things, Coco Melon is driving parents crazy, but crushing for little kids. I'm hoping to be, like, I'm excited, I can't wait to get the first DM or email.
Kids and parents, absolutely.
By the way, it's one of the reasons the Bluey founder flew out from Australia, and we had a meeting in New York, and he's giving me some nice flowers about some of the stuff I did around TikTok and how it helped blow up Bluey. And I was like, fuck, I gotta do that for myself for VFriends. It was profound. Bluey does that, correct. And that's what VFriends is gonna do as well. Like, I want it for both. And this is like kind of my first like real foray into it. I'm excited to get the first email this summer from someone who's like, hey, got the book because I'm a fan of you, read it for my 4-year-old. Gotta be honest with you, the patient pig thing really hit. Like, I know that I'm gonna be on a plane, and I can see my face in the screen on a plane already grinning, because that is a little bit of my secret plan, but that's absolutely right. The whole concept of meeting me in the middle, and real.
Because people think stoicism has no emotions. No, there's has no emotions, and then there's a slave to your emotions. Stoic is in the middle between those 2. You have it, and you choose which ones you utilize or don't utilize, but you're not. Do you know that
we're talking about the biggest pandemic in parenting right now? A lot of parents right now that are listening have an opposite view of their co-parent, right? Their wife or husband thinks something, they think the opposite. One parent takes the lead on something and goes over here. The other parent that has a different view, to get their kid in the middle, they think they have to go here. But they have to go.
You're too soft on him, you're too hard on him.
Correct, and so the answer actually is to go here. But that is like the opposite of what most people do. So I fully understand, it makes so much sense, and I think about it daily. We now live in the TikTokification era. Social media for the first 10 years was email marketing. Get as many followers as you can, and then a percentage of those people will see your content.
Your number of followers and the views something get
had a direct correlation, just like email. If you have 10 million people on the email list, and you had 10% open rates, 1 million saw it. Same with social forever. Twitter, Facebook, it would tweak, but and once in a while some shit would happen, but that was it.
And
now,
all algorithm.
Interest. It's why I thought Tumblr was gonna be the biggest social network when I invested in it. It was interest-based, not social-based. Even in 2007, I kind of had instincts to who you follow challenging game because your friends in high school versus college versus middle school versus family life, then you have kids and your friends don't, new parent friends, that evolves.
Yeah.
Interests, yeah, you could pick up new interests along the way.
Yeah.
But there's some things that will always be with you. Sports and wine for me, and there'll be new things. But even when you get new things, the algo will figure that out. So the interest graph was, the reason I was so hot on Musical.ly was it was the first time I saw the interest graph again since Tumblr.
Yeah.
And that is now evolved, and now it's now eating up everything, and it will, because that's how entertainment and all these books, and it's how we make choices. We make them based on relevance and how it, that's when you buy something.